Needs and Wants by Travis Schaefer. People need things. People want things. What do people need and want? People buy food. People need to buy food to survive. People need to buy food. So she's getting her groceries. Groceries are a need. You have to eat food, so you have to buy groceries. You need groceries. People buy candy. People do not need candy to survive. People want to buy candy. Touch the candy on the screen. Do you see the candy? You want candy. You do not have to have candy, but you want candy. People buy clothing. Where's the clothing on the screen? Can you touch the clothing? The little baby's outfit? People need to wear clothing. People need to buy clothing. You need clothes. People have to wear clothes, so you need them. People buy jewelry. Do you see the jewelry on the screen? She's got a crown and earrings, a necklace, bracelet, rings. She's buying jewelry. People do not need to wear jewelry. People want to buy jewelry. So you don't have to have jewelry. That means you want jewelry. People buy vehicles. People need to travel in vehicles. People need to buy vehicles. So to get around, when you go places with mommy or daddy, you get in the car, right? So you need a vehicle or a car. People buy sports cars. People do not need sports cars. People want to buy sports cars. So a car helps you get places, and you need that, but you can have a regular car or a sports car. It's fancy. A sports car that's fancy, you want. People buy shelter. People need shelter for safety. People need to buy shelter. So they're buying a house so they can have a place to live. You have to have a place to live, so you need a house or shelter. People buy mansions. Mansions are fancy houses. Can you touch the fancy house? People do not need mansions for safety. People want to buy mansions. So you don't have to have a big and fancy house. You just need a regular house. So a mansion is something that you want. People have needs and wants. People need to buy some things. People do not need to buy the things they want. Know when to buy things you need and want. Remember, it's always important to get the things you need before you get the things you want. The end. Now let's see if we can figure out what are needs and wants, just like we read from the book, okay? So the food and the house and the clothes at the top are needs. The jewelry, the chocolate, and the boat are wants. Okay, so look over to the side of the screen. There's a dress, some pants, and a shirt. These are clothes. Clothing. Do you remember from the story? Are they needs or wants? Do you need clothes or do you want clothes? You need the clothes. You have to have something on your body to wear. So clothes are a need. Let's look at the next one. On the side of the screen, it's jewelry. Do you need jewelry or do you want jewelry? Do you have to have jewelry? No, you do not have to have jewelry. So jewelry is a want. Jewelry is something you want. Next, we have groceries. Do you see the groceries? You have to have food to eat. So are groceries a need or a want? Do you have to have groceries? Yes, you have to have groceries. So groceries are a need. What about this candy? Do you have to have candy? No, you do not have to have candy to be safe. So candy is a want. Next we have a car or a vehicle. Do you have to have a vehicle to get places? Yes, you do. So a vehicle or a car is a need. You need a vehicle. Oh, what about this fancy sports car? You need a vehicle to get places, but does it have to be a fancy car? Does it have to be a fancy car? No. A sports car or a car that's a little fancy is something that you want. Next, there's a house or shelter. Do you have to have a place to live? Do you have to have a place to live? Yes, you do. So this house or shelter is a need. You need a place to call home. What about this mansion? The mansion, remember, is a big, fancy house. Do you have to have a fancy house? No, you do not have to have a fancy house. So a mansion is something that people want. Let's look at it one more time. Let's look at the things that we need. First, we have clothes, groceries, a vehicle, and shelter. These are things that we need to be safe in life. Okay, clothes, groceries, car, and house. Let's look at the things that are a want, things that we want. Jewelry, candy, sports car, and a mansion. So things that we don't need, we don't have to have them. It might be nice to have them, and you might want them. All right, the jewelry, so earrings, rings, bracelets, necklaces, candy. You don't have to have candy. We like candy and we might want it sometimes, but you don't have to have it. Next is the fancy sports car. A car that gets you places is good enough. It does not have to be a fancy car. And at the bottom is the mansion. A big, fancy house. A shelter or a home that keeps you safe is good enough. It does not have to be extra big and extra fancy. Awesome job. I hope you learned a little bit about needs versus wants.